Chronic illnesses like cancer, autoimmune conditions, diabetes, heart disease, just name them, are so common now. It's easy to forget just how rare they used to be. What changed? A lot of it has to do with the food that we eat and what's hidden inside of it. Let's start with plastics. They're everywhere, wrapping our food, lining our cans. They're even present in farming inputs and everywhere along the entire supply chain, getting the food from the farm to our kitchen. Over time, plastics break into tiny little pieces called microplastics, which end up in our food and water and air. Once they're in your body, they don't just leave. They build up by flowing through our blood into our organs. They get stored away in our tissues and fat, and most devastatingly, end up accumulating in our brain. Then there's the heavy metals. It's as if plastics, as if plastics weren't bad enough. Lead, arsenic, cadmium, and a host of others that we haven't even started measuring yet. These and more are finding their way into our soil and water, etc., through industrial waste. These inputs into our soil, inputs into our soil like fertilizers, and again, along the supply chain from soil to our forks. Crops like leafy greens absorb these metals. So even when you think you're eating something healthy, there's often more in that food than you've bargained for. And then, and here's the part that very few people talk about: the way we treat our farm, the way we treat our soil is a huge factor. Decades of chemical fertilizers, organic or not, and industrial farming practices have thrown the soil microbes out of balance. Healthy soil produces healthy plants, but damaged soil, it grows plants that are imbalanced, that are sick. They're unable to develop fully with the correct balance of nutrients. So when you eat a sick plant, it's not hard to guess what happens next. But there's a bigger picture at play here, and few, surprisingly, are connecting the dots. Life expectancy, for instance, in G7 countries and beyond, like the US, the UK, Canada, has been dropping for the past 5 decades. The only exception is perhaps Japan, where it flatlined, but it's beginning to angle downwards also. We're living shorter, less healthy lives. Why? Because the systems that feed us, industrial farming, heavy pesticides, long supply chains, are focused on profit, not health. Not health for us and not the health of the planet. Now, think about cities. Most of our food comes from hundreds or even thousands of miles away. But the time, but by the time it gets to you, it's been packaged in plastic, processed, preserved, and exposed to contamination. That perfect looking apple or spinach, it's hiding things you cannot see. This isn't just about what's on your plate. It's about a system that's failing to deliver food that's clean, fresh, and safe. Imagine a farm where the soil is alive, the plants are vibrant, and everything works the way nature intended. Leafy veggies, fruit are growing lush, fully, and full of taste. Now picture bringing that into cities. Of course, I don't mean the acres of farmland, but I do mean the practice of growing food cleanly that is full of taste and the correct nutrition. Food grown locally, and I mean organic food, because local just doesn't mean much anymore. Can have no plastics, no hidden toxins, because it's not going through the complex supply chain. Local in cities. Just clean, nutrient-rich food. This isn't some distant idea. It is being planned. We're planning it and should be available in the not so distant future. Trying to localize farming is a major movement today. However, it is wrought with the use of chemicals and external inputs that are still widely used in this method of farming, indoor vertical farming using hydroponics, for instance. That simply defeats the purpose of what food is meant to be for us. Mod Garden is making that possible to grow food where people can live sustainably and transparently. While we wait for systems that embody nature, the nature of yore, there are a few things that you can start doing right now. You can start supporting local farmers who focus on organic regenerative practices. Cut back on single-use plastics. I know it's not easy, but small steps matter. And start asking questions of your local grocery or anywhere that you go and shop for food, even the farmer's market. Where does your food come from? What were the inputs that went into growing that food? We don't have a food supply issue or a food security issue as most would have you believe. We've been chasing yield for far too long. We have a nutrient security issue. There's plenty of food around the world, but so much of it is stripped of what we actually need and filled with things we don't. Food isn't just something that we eat. It's what connects us to our health. It's what connects us to our communities with each other. And it's what connects us to Earth, Mother Earth. Fixing the way we grow and consume food isn't just about living longer. It's about quality of life. I mean, who wants to spend their final years at a senior living facility or a memory care facility? Just know that if we don't start to ask critical questions, these facilities and systems, the senior living facilities, are already at record residential rates. We certainly don't want to end up there. I know I don't. As I keep sharing information and hope to mobilize it into action and into real solutions for all of us, I hope to build a community of people who care about making this change and making the world a better place. Let's work together and create something better. Thanks for watching, and please share your thoughts below, and let's keep this conversation going.